I'll tell you another thing that I've been thinking about a lot lately. It's not a good thing to be universally liked. As someone who has very much gone through a fall from grace among many in my, there are many people, my high school community, college community, who viewed me as lovely, fantastic. And then when I became conservative and started doing this commentary, it's like, oh my God, this was not the Julie I thought I knew. How could she? I've had to face that. And let me tell you, it's strangely so liberating to not be liked by some people. I don't seek to be. You shouldn't seek to be universally liked.
Well, at the very least, you learned I can handle it.
Totally. And you know what? I mean, it's a blessing for many reasons because, mainly it makes you figure out who your real friends are, and that is everything. But it kind of also gives me permission to do whatever I want because I know they already hate me. It's sort of like, well, you're off, the reservation here. You're never going to like me anyway, no matter what I do. I might as well continue forward. But here's also the thing I've come to, and this is so important. I wish I better understood this, 5 years ago. If you are doing something morally, if you're doing something moral, or if you're doing something courageous, you are going to be disliked. It is a guarantee. Who throughout history has ever done anything good and not faced insurmountable opposition? This is why I adore Christianity. I have immense respect and reverence for it. That is the central story of Jesus Christ. Here we had the most righteous person on earth who was just trying to do good for everyone, and he was put on a cross. It is a guarantee that you're going to encounter opposition if you're doing the right thing. And that's so comforting because it's like, okay, Julie, every day you wake up, you try to do your best, you try to do what's good for your country. And if people are hating you for that, weirdly, it's a sign that you're doing something right if you're ticking them off.
That's right. What? People, how shall I put this? I spend a lot of time in airports, but even if I go out of the house, there is no day that someone will not come by and say something sweet to me, a stranger, and perhaps ask for a selfie. So this is a common line I get. Dennis, I just want you to know, we love you. Their family, or speaking on behalf of somebody else, boyfriend, girlfriend, doesn't matter, or I love you. But they always add, but you hear that all the time. To which many years ago, I actually came up with this answer. Actually, I also hear the opposite all the time.
Well,
Wait, let me just give you'll love this. You don't know my response. Oh, you will love this. So I actually say to them, unless there are little kids around, I will say, you know what? Google Dennis Prager and see how many tens of thousands of hits you get. They totally crack up. And it's true. So, obviously I resonate to what you say, because I am the object of a vast amount of hatred and vast amount of love, to which, of course, you know this, I think. I've developed this really great lesson in life. If you let the compliments go to your head, you will let the insults go to your heart.
Yeah, you have to maintain a sort of neutrality with regard to all of it.
Exactly. I deeply appreciate every kind comment, but they absolutely don't go to my head. And likewise, the others, curse me out all you like, fascist, this. It just means I'm having an effect. When I was on Bill Maher's show, and the whole audience laughed at me, Bill Maher laughed at me, and the panel laughed at me when I said, you think Donald Trump lies? Look at how the left lies. He goes, what do you mean? Well, they say America's systemically racist, and they say men menstruate. And he goes, this is, by the way, gone viral. There are maybe 10 million views of this on the internet. And he goes, what? Who says men menstruate? And he starts laughing. And the whole audience is laughing. And I'm thinking, I know I'm right. They're going to laugh at themselves.
Totally. I study you and other courageous, principled people, and I try to figure out where does that come from, because that's not easy, even though you know you're right. To sit in an on national television live and be laughed at by the host and by the audience, that's not an amazing feeling, no matter how right you are. And so I look at stuff like that and I go, okay, what is animating that person? And I think it's two things. First, it's what you just said about having a kind of neutrality or indifference to the love and to the hate. But I think there's a second component of courage: thinking long term. Knowing that what you're doing now is going to age well. And that has been kind of my I remember being at Harvard and writing that article about the COVID lockdowns, which was, even though I in the moment knew that I was right, it was insane to mask us as we're getting our food, but then allow us to take off the mask as we're eating our food, as if COVID only lives where the food is and not where the dining table. I knew I was right about all of it, but still it was immensely unpopular. And I remember whenever I do something controversial or taking a risk, I tell myself one thing: this is going to age well. Think about that. Don't think about the here and now. Think about 3 years from now when you can go, yeah, that's right. I wrote an article about the crazy COVID restrictions, and now you see that they're crazy. I knew it 3 years ago. What? You have to think long term.
Julie, you are so great today.
I really don't think I'm not.
No.
We don't have to get into
respond.
it. Thank you.
Have to respond. That is a very, very wise observation. And, I mean, it's not hidden from the audience how much, not only do I adore you, but I see me in you, which has happened very rarely in my life. At beginning in high school, I thought long term.
Yep.
It was built into me. I don't even take credit. That is how my mind worked. I thought in high school, and I was already a happy kid then. But I thought, I'm going to die. So that's when I developed my belief that if there is a good God, there is an afterlife. It's an axiom. It's not a belief. It's an axiom. It's a belief there's a good God, but it's not a belief that if there's a good God, there's an afterlife.
Right.
That's so. I knew that then because I thought of that. But on a personal level, I remember thinking, how will I want to look back at my life when I'm old?
Yes.
And I am living that now, and I thank God or thank luck or thank whatever that I thought that way, because I could look back at a certain amount of good that I've done, at having children and grandchildren and a community, all that matters. When I've been divorced, as everybody knows, I got married. My first marriage was because I could not continue to think, I'm not going to live a bachelor life anymore. This is empty. So I got married more out of, I want to get married. I want to make a home. I want to advance in life. And she's a wonderful woman. We're still very close. And but she was not for me and I was not for her. Okay, so fine. So we divorced. But I knew I don't want to look back if I can do anything about it childless. And then for my second child, pregnancy was not an option for my second wife. And so I said, oh, then we'll adopt. It took me 2 seconds.
And look what a blessing you got
and
out
look
of
what
that.
Yes, exactly. But that's why when I meet young people and they're so career preoccupied, and it's not like I haven't had a good career, but I knew what really will matter in the long term. And they don't, because there's no long-term thinking. That's Tom Sowell's great point. He calls it stage one thinking. This is what characterized the left-wing mindset. What feels good now? Mm-hmm. But you know what? You're going to get old one day. You're going to look back at being the head of sales for Neiman Marcus, or some. I'm just picking. I have nothing against Neiman Marcus. That's going to bring you meaning at the end.
Yes. No, I think it's the key to everything, and especially courage. Knowing that what you are doing and what you are saying is going to age well.